Hello, darlings. This is Annette of AnnetteLeonard.com, back again with Chronic Wellness. Thanks for joining me. I would like you to join me in closing your eyes and either following your breath or your heartbeat for just a few moments, whichever is a more peaceful place for you. So tune in now and notice either your breath or your heartbeat. You can close your eyes. And I want you to imagine a horizontal beam of light that is going to start just slightly above your head. And it's going to move down across your whole body from the top of your head down to your toes. And as it does, I want you to just take stock. So start above your head, and now we're going to come down across your forehead and your eyes and your nose, down across your mouth and your neck, across your shoulders and your chest. At the same time, moving across your arms, down your torso, through your waist and down through your lower arms, across your hands and your hips, moving down across your thighs and your fingertips, to your knees, and now your shins, to your ankles, and now to your feet, making sure that you hit your soles of your feet and those toes. What did you notice? Did you feel searing pain? Did you find areas of relaxation? Were there hot spots or tight spots, tension, areas that hurt more yesterday? What you've just done is kind of a sped up version of a body scan. And this tiny tool, this low-tech, nothing required but you and your mind, building block, has transformed my life. And I know that's a bold claim, but I mean it. I've talked to you in other videos about my mom, and both my mom and my dad are incredibly bright, super intellectual. Like, my dad is probably genius level, one of the most intelligent people that you could ever meet. And my mom is not far behind in that. And both of them were so identified with their intellect and with intellectual pursuits and with the life of the mind. Like, really, neither of them played sports much or really identified very strongly with their bodies. And I think that's just an interesting thing to make note of. I don't think that that's, a judgment call. I think we're just all wired differently is the truth of that. But what that means is that I just had more of a distance to learn about how to inhabit my body. My mother, who died 3 years ago now, was ill from the age of 16, and at many times in her life, very critically ill. She herself passed through a couple of expiration dates given to her by physicians, and was a medical miracle in her own right. And because she was raised with this ethic that to say something, you only say something nice, because to say anything that's not nice is complaining. She really took that to heart and embodied that so completely that she really would not speak about her own bodily experience because she thought it was complaining. And to the tune of, I would say, Mom, how are you feeling today? And if she wasn't feeling well, she'd turn that around into like, so glad we're here together. She'd answer the question so masterfully that if you weren't paying attention to the fact that she hadn't answered the question, you'd never know that she hadn't answered the question, because she'd give you a pleasant answer, always a pleasant answer, without answering what you'd actually asked. And I learned that, from my earliest days. And what that meant was that as an adult, I didn't know how to tune into my own experience. One of the things that has driven my wife bananas about me is that she'll ask me a very direct question like, would you rather have your eggs scrambled or fried? And I'll say, whichever is easier for you. I don't know the answer. And so I'll give back like a bunch of options to her, or I'll give back something that's like, you choose, instead of taking ownership of decisions that are about what I would prefer. And so, in my quest for wellness, in my quest for health, I learned this tool of the body scan. And I learned it at the time when my lungs were so failing that I felt like I was suffocating all the time. And I could only take just tiny sips of air. And so for me, it was most soothing to do a body scan while tuning into my pulse, while turning into the beat of my heart, because paying attention to my breath was so distracting. I couldn't scan the rest of my body, because all I could pay attention to was, I'm suffocating. I can't breathe. So that's why I offer you the option of whatever is most calming. And while it is counterintuitive to pay attention to these bodies when they are the thing that feels like our prison, that feels like the thing we most want to escape, I think that we must turn toward that very thing, that we must turn toward the body scan, toward paying attention to what is happening for me right now. Because there are subtle changes, and I won't know what they are if I'm not tuning in. And there are differences between yesterday and today, and between this morning and this afternoon, and between before my rest and after my rest. And if I am not paying attention, I will miss them. And if I am trying to maximize how I am expending my energy each day, I can't do that if I'm not tuning in. And if I am trying to adjust how much I'm eating, exercising, sleeping, giving, doing, I can't do any of that if I'm not tuned into the subtleties. And I will tell you that the benefits that I have reaped from doing body scans regularly have been felt from the seemingly small, like being able to answer the question, do I want my egg fried or scrambled? By just like stopping and being like, do I want my egg fried or scrambled? And like literally I'll sit there and I'll be like, fried egg, scrambled egg. And I'll ask myself which one feels better. To the somewhat larger, am I eating this right now because I'm hungry or because I'm sad? To the larger in my book, which is I didn't know how to process anger. I believed that I didn't have anger, and I later learned that I was transforming anger into sadness before I was processing it as anger. And it behooves me to feel that anger because it was never effectively being felt as sadness because it was anger. I mean, it's like, why can't I effectively feel this joy as contentment? Well, because it's not contentment, it's joy. Feel the punch of joy. Just like I need to feel the punch of anger, not the mellowing dissolve of sadness. Like I need to feel the hit of anger and let that burn off. And I would say all the way to the really large, which is that I've been learning how to love myself. And I don't mean that in some surface or topical kind of cliche way. I mean that in an embodied, deep, cell up kind of way. And no, it's not a perfected kind of thing where like I live in the land of perfectly loving myself. It's I now understand my value and my worth, and the work of loving myself, just like the work of any relationship. And I'm going to put in the time because I am worth it, and I'm going to do the work. And the work for me starts with body scans. So that is just my little plug about when I say, you know, if I'm going to an event, I set alarms for myself to do body scans so that I can stay in touch with, do I still want to be here? Do I need to cut out earlier than I thought? Can I stay longer than I thought? Is this still the conversation I want to be in? All of those things, that is why body scans are so crucial to my well-being, and why, if you are not doing them regularly, I'd suggest you give it a try. And you can do that starting now. And my very best recommendation is that you tie them to other habits. So for example, every time I wake up, before I put my feet on the ground, I do a scan. Every time I take a shower, when I'm wrapping the towel around myself, I do a scan. Every time I'm brushing my teeth, I do a scan. So you can tie body scans to other activities so that you're doing them on a more regular interval. So are you doing body scans? How do you use them? Are there habits you tie them to? And what benefit have you seen? And if not, why not? Sound off. You know I'd love to hear from you. So leave me a comment, subscribe if you haven't, and until we're together again, I thank you for your attention, and be well.